Okay, so here's the machine that I've been working on for a bit. It's a rotary plasma cutter with an engraver, and there's a engraver head, and then of course the plasma cutter pops into a little holder there, and of course it's not installed. Pretty simple machine. Of course I've got a gutter there. That gutter is because we'll be running water through the tubing, and that'll help keep spatter from collecting on the inside of the tube. Just running on Mach 3, and well, here's all the guts in there. Actually, quite a bit of wiring to make this all work, but does what I need it to do, and yeah, and of course that spins around and up and down. Let's see if we can't get you to view that. Makes the engraver work. I had tried a pneumatic engraver at first, but that just made the engravings way too deep for what I want them for. Yeah. So the plasma cutter is so that I can make a couple more of these, and because I wanted to build a rotary plasma cutter for a long time, and a buddy of mine and I were talking about it. He wanted to build one of these, I wanted to build one of these. This is a VF1 cross cart, so he ordered up the plans and bought himself a tube cutter and a tube notcher and the tube bender from Rogue Fab. While he was ordering that up, I got to work building this unit, which is my tube bender, and I'll give you a quick demo on that in just a minute here. And that's again, I overcomplicated what could be a fairly simple machine. The Rogue Fab does a fine job. There's nothing wrong with it. But I'm kind of a nerd, so if I could overcomplicate it, then that's what I'm going to do, I suppose. So, anyways, check back with you in a second. Okay, so here's the computer for the tube bender, and what I can do is I can change the target angle, which is the top number, to whatever it is that I want it to be. So if I want it to be 45 degrees, I can change it to 45 degrees in quarter-degree increments. Figured that was probably close enough. The blue button allows me to reset the current angle and set it to 0. The red button starts it bending, the green button pauses it, and the black button allows me to turn on and off the relief valve on the hydraulic cylinder. So I'll turn on the relief valve on the hydraulic cylinder, and I'll give it a couple of pumps to take the slack out of the there we go, that's pretty good. So I just use the hand pump on the bottom, and then I'll reset that number, back it off a little bit so you guys can see the tube being bent, and I'll hit start. Maybe you can read those numbers as it's going up. Now it's going to do something pretty cool when it gets to 45 degrees. And I'll explain it after the tube is done being bent. But it just released the pressure and rolled it back, and now it's only at 42 degrees of bend. And we ended up at 45.35 degrees. So what it did was it released pressure on the hydraulic cylinder and allowed it to spring back. That amount of spring back was then recalculated into the target angle, and then the target angle now becomes the angle that you wanted plus the spring back. So I don't have to look up in a chart. If I want to bend a piece of aluminum, I can put a piece of aluminum, of course it has to be 1.5 inch diameter, because that's what this piece of tubing is, but I put a piece of 1.5 inch aluminum in there, or stainless, or whatever, and I don't have to look it up in a chart what the overbend is supposed to be. It will just bend it to where it was supposed to be, watch it spring back, and then recalculate the bend so that I end up with a nearly perfect bend every time. And I'm generally within 1/4 degree. I mean, here we're at just over that, but for the stuff that I'm building, if you're within 1/4 degree, it hasn't been a problem. So, yeah, that's the tube bender that I overcomplicated because originally I just wanted to add a display that would show me the degrees that I was bending. But then once I went through the work of doing that, it was like, hey, you know, if you do that and you can watch it spring back, well, once you watch it spring back, you can recalculate it and bend it some more, and then now you know it's bent the exact amount. So that's the explanation on the tube bender. So here's the bend that we just bent. You can see that is tight there, and that is tight to the clamp, and we're measuring 135 degrees actually exactly, which is 90 plus 45. So that's our 45 degree bend, right down to the nuts, which is generally better than you can get with your homebrew tube bender. So quite proud of that. Seems to be working very well, and yeah, from here on out, now I just need to get all my files done for where the tube bender clamp needs to go on the tubing, and then I can make all of my parts that I need to make for my tube chassis. So, and then of course I've got older kids, so I'm going to be making more than one. I'm fairly certain of it. Anyways, that's that.